Hello, this is Riley Porter with Seattle Sumo. You are listening to a commentary track for Day 11 of the 1964 Natsu Basho. That is the May contest. The video coverage for this tournament can be found on the Japan Sumo Association's YouTube channel. There will be a link for that below, and accessed with a $9 monthly membership. As usual, to sync up the audio commentary with the video coverage, I will count backwards from 3, 3, 2, 1. As I hit the N in 1, you will click play on the video coverage. I will do the same, and we will be in sync for the day's action. So, without any further ado, I will start the countdown and get us started. 3, 2, 1. Futabayama, Taiho, Chianofuji, Grand Sumo, Archive Basho. Day 11, we are starting off the final third. Up first, it's bottom Maegashira Kotozakura on the edge of a losing score up against Juryo guest Oiteyama, who was been in the top division prior, but couldn't quite stick it for very long. It's a 2-0 head-to-head in Kotozakura's favor. Kotozakura a little slow on the tachi-ai there. Oiteyama certainly seemed eager enough. Kotozakura will probably want to try to keep some distance. And a hard charge from Oiteyama. Kotozakura gets the outside left, but his heel's already on the edge, and that's Makekoshi for Kotozakura. That's his 8th loss, the first loss he suffered to Oiteyama in 3 meetings, and a pretty clear sign that Kotozakura is not nearly fully recovered from his severe leg injury. Oiteyama, meanwhile, picks up his 5th win. Here's Waka Tenryu up against Waka Haguro. It's a 2-0 head-to-head in Waka Haguro's favor. He'll want to be pushing. Slow start from Waka Haguro. Waka Tenryu pushes into the chest. Cups on the back of the neck. Waka Haguro, now he's kicking into gear. Shoving, and hustles Waka Tenryu out Oshi Taoshi. Forward pushing crush out, I suppose you could say. In any event, Waka Haguro, he staves off Makekoshi for at least one more day, moves to his 4th win. Waka Tenryu, meanwhile, falls to his 6th loss. Just a couple more as a losing record. We'll see what happens. Now we have Tsunenishiki on the edge of Makekoshi up against Wakanami, who already has his Kachikoshi in very different shape coming into today. But their head-to-head is even, 3-3. And a jumping start from Wakanami spells disaster. Tsunenishiki just hits him chest to or shoulder to chest and shoves him out without too much issue. So Tsunenishiki takes the edge in his rivalry with Wakanami. Now it's 4-3 in his favor, and he staves off Makekoshi for today, moving to his 4th win. Wakanami, not quite sure what he was thinking there. He jumped into his own defeat. Deiwanishiki is up now. Tsunenishiki's stablemate. He's up against Iwakaze. It's a 9-6 head-to-head in Iwakaze's favor. Iwakaze rushes across the line. Deiwanishiki tries to wrap up that arm, but Iwakaze is too fast for him. He pivots around to the side and pushes out Deiwanishiki from the rear. So that's 8th win and Kachikoshi for Iwakaze. Well, a pretty aggressive... his sumo today was pretty aggressive. Not quite the usual. He's not an overly impatient Dikishi. But worked out for him today. Here's Kainoyama, technical Dikishi, sole representative for the Onogawa stable here in the top division, up against Kitano Kuni, Shinyumaku. It's their first time meeting, and Kainoyama rushes into a 2-hand blast from Kitano Kuni. Now it's an exchange of Tsupari here in the middle of the ring. Kainoyama looks like he'd rather get a grip. He's deep inside with the left, and that just about does it. Yorikiri victory for Kainoyama. That was a little bit of a rough match to start with, but the technical veteran won out in his first meeting with the newcomer. So Kainoyama moves to his 6th win. Kitano Kuni his 6th loss. For both these Dikishi, things could end up either way. We'll see how they're looking in a couple days. Here's Tochio Yama. He's up against Haguro Yama. Their head-to-head is 1-0 in Hagoroyama's favor. Hagoroyama kind of slaps down and tries to dodge. Tochioyama keeps his bearing. Tochioyama's digging in with the head, grabbing the front of the belt there. Working his way forward. Hagoroyama is on the defense and is hustled out in short order by Tochioyama. Tochioyama, good ring sense. Good job keeping his balance, even as Hagoroyama dodged him at the initial start of the bout. 6th win for Tochioyama, 6th loss for Hagoroyama. And now their head-to-head is even, 1-1. Now we have Haguro Gawa. He's a lifter up against Kane no Hana. He's a decently well-rounded Dikishi on the whole. It's a 7-4 head-to-head in Haguro Gawa's favor. Rushing across is Kane no Hana. He's got the inside left. Haguro Gawa's got the outside right. And he's deep inside left, and he finishes off Kane no Hana Yorikiri. Well, as far as the battle for power is concerned, I think Haguro Gawa's a clear winner. Kane no Hana tends to supplement his lack of raw strength with a fiery charge, but didn't quite work out for him this time. Haguro Gawa moves to his 6th win. Kane no Hana, his 6th loss. Yes, many Dikishi paired up today are going to have similar scores. That's generally how it is as the Basho progresses. And here's another 5-5 Dikishi. It's Tamanoshima up against Fuji Nishiki. Their head-to-head is nothing. It's a first-time meeting. Fuji Nishiki is the veteran. Tamanoshima is a newcomer. And some thrusting to start with. Fuji Nishiki is trying to drive forward. Tamanoshima's got the belt. This should work in his favor. He twists around and tosses down Fuji Nishiki. That was looks sort of like a maybe an Uwate Hineri, Uwate Nage overarm throw. Well, pretty good stuff from Tamanoshima. Moves to his 6th win. Fuji Nishiki, his 7th loss. One more will be Makekoshi for Takasago's veteran pusher. Tamanoshima looking pretty solid at his career highest rank to date. One of our judges here in the front row, that's the former Masuyama, now Miho Gaseki Oyakata. He's got his own stable. Here's Kitano Fuji. If he wins today, that's his Kachikoshi. His opponent is Fusanishiki. This is their first time meeting. Good charge from Fusanishiki. Moves Kitano Fuji back a couple feet, but Kitano Fuji's double inside now. It's trouble for Fusanishiki, who's hanging on desperately but can't quite pull it off. Kitano Fuji wins his first meeting with Fusanishiki and secures his Kachikoshi at the same time. As an 8-3 score, leaving day 11 for Kitano Fuji. A couple more wins like that, and that should see him return to Sanyaku in short order. Fusanishiki, meanwhile, falls to 6-5. Still in decent enough shape for a winning record. Here's Wakanokuni. 3-7. Another loss is Makekoshi, but Toyokuni, his opponent, already has his Makekoshi. Sort of a tepid start from Toyokuni, but he's moving forward. He's shoving, moving into the throat, and finishes Wakanokuni. Tsukidashi. Thrust out. That's Makekoshi for Wakanokuni. Toyokuni already has his, and they have an even score coming out today. Both of them are 3-8. As far as the head-to-head is concerned, Toyokuni has brought it to 5-2 in his favor against Wakanokuni. Though ailing, he still approached this bout with the appropriate amount of confidence, I think, given the opponent and his history. Now that we've reached the halfway mark of the Basho, they're switching out the ringside judges for the next set. Toyokuni has to hang out for a second so he can pass off the power water to the next Dikishi. Here's Sawa Hikari. Up against Wakachichibu. They've had one meeting prior to this, and that went the way of Sawa Hikari. Wakachichibu, however, is looking much better than the last time they met, so we'll see if he can even it up. Head bonking start here. Sawa Hikari charges across the line. He's got the shallow of the right. Wakachichibu's got his inside left. That's his preferred grip. Not quite on the belt, though. Sawa Hikari's making all the going, pumping it with the gut, and he finishes Wakachichibu. So Wakachichibu unable to avenge his previous loss, and now he slips to a 2-0 head-to-head in Sawa Hikari's favor. Additionally, Wakachichibu picks up his third loss, and I think that places him very much with an outside chance of winning the Basho at this point. But still, 3 losses is not too many to be considered, even at this point. Now is Naruto up against a struggling Aono Sato who already has 8 losses and Make Koshi. It's a 2-0 head-to-head in Naruto's favor, and he should be especially spurned on given the shape Aono Sato's in right now. A dodge and an attempt at an arm lock throw from Naruto, but didn't really seem like he needed to put too much wrenching power into that. Aono Sato slipped away with relative ease, so clearly not in his best shape. Naruto, no complaints, moves to his 5th win. Still possible to get his Kachikoshi, but he can only afford 1 more loss if he wants to do that, so he'll have to remain very sharp for the next 4 days. Still, he's ranked, I think, at his career best to date. Here's Kiyokuni up against Tsurugamine. It's a 1-0 head-to-head in Kiyokuni's favor. He's much newer to the division. He only entered in November of last year. Tsurugamine has been around for several years. Kiyokuni gets the better of the initial charge, but Tsurugamine recovers, brings them back into the middle now, and they're jostling for position. Kiyokuni pushing up on the throat and finishes Tsurugamine Yorikiri. Kiyokuni very good at, despite being well-built, with a good height, able to come in from a low angle of attack. Very skilled Dikishi. You saw the way that he was going chest to belly there and trying to press up the arm into the armpit and then the throat. Great leverage usage there. Kiyokuni moves to his 5th win. Here's Ogi no Hana. If he loses today, that's Make Koshi. His opponent Myobudani has a little bit more room to maneuver. They've had 13 meetings. 8 of them have gone Myobudani's way. Ogi no Hana is deep inside, but now Myobudani has got a deep inside grip. This should work in his favor. And a pause to the action pretty quickly. Ogi no Hana's belt has become loose in the back, so the Gyoji is going to fix it up. Shouldn't take too long. And back to it. Dipping down is Myobudani and coming back up, lifting. Finishes Ogi no Hana. Tsuridashi, lift out. Ogi no Hana falls to his 8th loss, and Make Koshi, meanwhile, Myobudani picks up his 5th win. So definitely retaining a chance for an immediate return to Sanyaku. He was Komusubi in the last Basho, but couldn't quite stick it. Looking pretty solid, though, still. Picked up a good win against Taiho earlier in this tournament. Speaking of wins against Taiho, that's the only thing that Maedagawa's walked away with so far in this Basho. Things are looking pretty miserable otherwise with 9 losses, but he's up against Wakamiyama, who's struggling a little here. And a hard charge from Maedagawa, coming off at a good angle, and is almost able to finish at Wakamiyama, but Wakamiyama, he's sticking with it, moving laterally. Now he's trying to lock up the arm so that Ki may hold. But Maedagawa is doing well enough to keep his attacking angle alive. And now the pace of the action has slowed pretty considerably. I think Maedagawa's lost a bit of energy, but he's giving another crack at charging out. Wakamiyama, pretty tough defensively given his weight. Undoubtedly the heaviest in this division, and definitely a bit more on the scale than Maedagawa here, his opponent. Maedagawa, now he's pulling back, but can't make a swing happen. That's his 10th loss, but Wakamiyama can at least say that he saved himself from Make Koshi today. That's his 4th win. Their head-to-head was 1-0 in Maedagawa's favor coming into today, and now it's even, 1-1 between the two. Should, a bit of a feather in Wakamiyama's cap. Beat an opponent he hadn't before. We'll see if he can carry that momentum into tomorrow. Here's Daigo. Things are not looking so good for Daigo, but if he can win today, that'd be at least something. It's a 1-1 head-to-head with opponent Hirokawa. Brand new to the Komusubi rink. Hirokawa want to come out pushing. Daigo should want to close the distance and get to some work on the belt. Once they get synced up, that is. Tachiai is never easy. Looks like they're ready. Daigo a little ahead of Hirokawa there. And this is it. Hard charge from Hirokawa, and he follows it up nicely. Very quickly finishes off Daigo Oshidashi. Push out. Well, that's the 9th loss for Daigo. 5th win for Hirokawa. Congratulations. But Daigo, with 9 losses, is guaranteed to fall right back into the Maegashira. So Ozeki hopes well and truly dashed, and I think at this point, even being a Sanyaku regular in the future is somewhat in doubt. Who's to say? Here's Kitabayama, a leader early on in this basho, but has since kind of fallen off, up against fellow Ozeki Saranoyama. Tokitsukaze stable against Dewanoumi stable, 2 of the titans of sumo. Their head-to-head is 12-2 in Saranoyama's favor. Saranoyama, good tsupari, thrusting away at Kitabayama's chest, not letting him get in too close. Keeps up the attack. Kitabayama desperately trying to close the distance. And a nice kubi-nage. Neck toss. More like a head and arm if you have a wrestling background. Saves Kitabayama at the last second. He kind of sensed that Saranoyama maybe was putting a little too much lean into it. Hard to say exactly, but in any event, Kitabayama picks up his Kachikoshi on day 11. 8-3 score, and Saranoyama, meanwhile, falls to his 4th loss, so I think we can say with some confidence that he's truly out of the Yusho race at this point. Kitabayama retains an outside chance. We'll see. It really depends on the pace that Kashiwado and Tochinoumi are setting. Well, here is Tochi Hikari. Already has his Kachikoshi. He's got a chance for the Yusho, only 2 losses. Same for his opponent today, Taiho. He's also only got 2 losses, though 2 losses for him is a lot more than 2 losses for Tochi Hikari. Safe to say. They've had 22 head-to-heads. 17 of them have gone the way of Taiho. Let's see if he can recover from his losses. Taiho slaps down Tochi Hikari. Hatakikomi, or maybe a Hikiotoshi pull down. I don't know how to call that sometimes, but in any event, Taiho moves to his 9th win. Very much keeping his Yusho hopes alive. Tochi Hikari, meanwhile, still with a chance. 3 losses isn't game over. We'll see. Taiho looking pretty strong today. No real signs of concern. Today at least, overall for the basho. Some question marks. Here's Tochinoumi. Still only has 1 loss. He is the sole runner-up at this point, up against Kairyu Yama. Sekiwake, Shin Sekiwake, brand new to the ring. They've had 17 meetings, and 10 of them have gone the way of Tochinoumi, so he has the edge. Not too great of an edge, though. He has the front of the belt, and now he's deep inside is Tochinoumi. Doing well enough to protect his own Mawashi, and a nice Sotogake outside leg trip finishes the job. So the technical master picks up his 10th win on day 11. Tochinoumi, so far, this is definitely going very, very well for him in his 2nd Yokozuna basho. His debut wasn't exactly fireworks, but did solid enough. This time, however, definitely seeing an improvement in focus and sharpness of attack. Kairyu Yama, meanwhile, falls to his 7th loss. 1 more is Makekoshi. Here's Ozeki Yutakayama. Never really in it. The race for the Emperor's Cup, that is, but still has a chance for a Kachikoshi and a chance to change the shape of the race going forward if he can upset Kashiwado. They've had 9 head-to-heads. Kashiwado has won 7 of them. Certainly it's in the Yokozuna's favor. And certainly, too, Yutakayama is a very well-built Rikishi. You can see that he stands toe-to-toe with Kashiwado there. Will he be able to stop the charge? He does. Shakes off Kashiwado's grip, but Kashiwado keeps moving forward. However, at the very edge, Yutakayama digs his heels in, flexes his back, and pivots. Uchari, backwards pivot throw. And it looked to me like it was successful. Perhaps a little too successful. Kashiwado looks like he got the wind knocked out of him. Very slow to remount the dohyo. Even the Gyoji is a bit concerned here, checking to see if he can remount. He's coming. Typical Kashiwado. Win or lose, he is not exactly skipping away from the match. But he has been given the win. Not what I expected. It seemed to me that Uchari was successful, but I suppose according to the Gyoji and therefore the judges, given the lack of objection, that was Kashiwado's win. Well, we'll see if he's feeling in tip-top shape tomorrow, if perhaps that's a race-ending injury. Who knows? In any event, the race is more or less as it was coming into today. We'll see how things go tomorrow. Thank you for joining me.